folks, this is Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're watching WGS-TV. Tough guy.
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFXTV. I'm the WrestleGamer, Double B Billy Boudreaux. Got a couple of guys I introduced to you. First off, from YouTube.com/Lance Moss TV, he is the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
He is the MVP of the Bay Area. He is Will. Will, how you doing?
Suicide is back.
Yep, and our friend from the Big Easy, James, is here. James, how you doing?
Oh.
Is James here?
Oh,
I'm here, sorry. I had to do something with my brother, so I'm here, sorry.
Alright, well, we're talking about Impact Wrestling for the week of May 23rd, 2013. Now, we open up with Hulk Hogan coming out, apparently to call out, I guess, Sting to talk about what happened last week with Sting and Bully Ray's contract negotiation stipulations about Sting accepting the terms that if he gets a no-holds-barred match and if Sting loses, he does not get another World Heavyweight Championship match as long as he is in TNA. And, you know, they start, you know, going back and forth about who's taking the blame. Now, I want to say up until this point in the promo, it's interesting because we know Hogan can cut a promo. Sting can cut a promo. Brooke Hogan, when she comes out, just kind of suck the life right out of the promo because she may be a Hogan, but she still doesn't have any good mic skills. I mean, you can tell, you know, with Hulk Hogan and Sting, you know, you can kind of feel the emotion of the promo. When Brooke Hogan's out there, she's like just reading rehearsed lines, you know, and that's all she's doing. Then, of course, you get Bully Ray coming out and then starts making, you know, Bully Ray saying, you know what, you don't have to, Sting, you don't have to blame yourself. Brooke Hogan, you don't have to blame yourself. Or Hulk Hogan, you don't have to blame yourself. The only person to blame for everything that's wrong in TNA is me. And then Bully Ray says, Brooke Hogan, I still love you. I really don't know what to take from that. You know, there have been a lot of rumors, a lot of people saying that, you know, that Brooke Hogan is supposed to turn on her father sometime soon and join Aces and Eights. I don't know, you know, if there's any validity to that rumor, but it seems to be the way they're painting that out. It seems to be that way, but I'm going to give him this opening promo a 4 out of 5, but Brooke Hogan, again, you know, she might be nice to look at, but, her mic skills are just terrible. I mean, come on. I mean, you're a Hogan. You're supposed to have that natural, raw ability to cut a promo. Hulk Hogan has it. Nick Hogan would probably have it if he would learn to drive better. But Brooke Hogan just doesn't have it. 3.5.
Got it.
Go ahead.
She got it from her mom.
Yeah. 3.5 out of 5. Now, Lance, first matchup on Impact this week was an X Division match. Two things we need to know. First off, it was the return of Suicide, taking on the Canadian Destroyer, Petey Williams, and the completely oiled from head to toe Joey Ryan. When I saw that, it almost made me want to barf. But the second thing to note about this X Division match was apparently now the X Division camera, that angle where you get the first-person perspective of the referee has now been scrapped. And I, for one, Lance, think that's a good idea.
Well, they were just trying something new, and apparently it didn't work. So, yeah, probably a good idea. Because what referee wants to go out wearing that thing on their head, honestly? They pretty much just said no. Or maybe they're just doing it for the X Division title matches. Who knows?
But talk about this X Division match and the return of Suicide.
Yeah, it was kind of a mediocre X Division match, but yeah. Then the only thing I could actually remember of it is what the hell was that thing? Suicide hit on.
I think it was. I think. Yeah, it might have been Petey Williams. I'm not sure. That's, you know, There are a lot of there are a lot of maneuvers that really don't surprise me. There's a lot of things I've seen with me being a wrestling fan for 25 years and being in the industry as a commentator for 5 years. But that maneuver that was implemented by Suicide, and there's a lot of talk between me, James, and Will about who was actually donning the gear. And I know that Studley Man Ashley joined us a little bit later, and we also discussed it with him. He's getting the feeling that it was possibly Daniels who was donning the gear of Suicide tonight. But as far as that maneuver goes, it was a very unique finisher, something I've never seen before, and that's something we've been used to seeing from the Suicide character there, Lance, is maneuvers we haven't seen before. So, how would you rate the finish and the match?
Match, probably a 3 out of 5. The finish, since I've never seen that move before, 5 out of 5, because I like being shocked with new moves.
Well, James, up next we were scheduled to have a gut check match where the person would move on to the finals, where the gut check winner would actually get into the Bound for Glory series. Now, we saw last week it was Jane Bradford defeating Christian York, and by the way, there was somebody in the comments section on last week's Impact review who apparently still stands by Jay Bradley's boomstick finisher being a good finisher. I just want to take a very quick timeout to kind of address that comment. No, it's not! It is not good as JBL's clothesline from hell. I am sorry to say it, but Jay Bradley's clothesline finisher, especially from last week, absolutely sucked. It was basically a piss-poor clothesline. If anything, Christian York was the one who had to do most of the selling in that finishing move. Other than that, I am sorry to this person in the comment section, but I cannot at all wholeheartedly agree with your statement saying that Jay Bradley's finisher is just as good as the clothesline from hell by JBL. I cannot stand by that. So, now with that being said, James, we were originally scheduled to have Sam Shaw and Alex Silva, who was the very first winner of the gut check contest, but we didn't have that. Apparently, we got Sam Shaw was already in the ring, then he gets interrupted by Aces and Eights in the form of Wes Brisco, Doc, and Garrett Bischoff, saying that they laid out Alex Silva. So apparently they're saying that Sam Shaw wins by default, but now Wes Brisco saying that it wasn't fair to him because he was in gut check, but he wasn't invited to be in this tournament. So apparently Brisco and the other members of Aces and Eights decided to take out Sam Shaw in this one. But then he gets rescued by someone. James, who did he get rescued by?
He got rescued by Magnus, who came out, and after that he talked on the mic saying that there was nothing right that said with him, the guys in the back, and the people in the arena, and that's all the gang attack from the Aces and Eights on Sam. And it's like Magnus said he and Sam are friends from being in that Harley race school. It's like, okay, if you want it, it's now personal. You and me fight right now. And then they had a match.
Talk about the match.
It was a back and forth match, and Magnus was going to the top when the Aces, when Doc and Garrett Bischoff attacked him, and the referee called for the disqualification, and they did a beatdown until Samoa Joe came out. He's back, and he's gonna eat your kids.
God.
But he saved Magnus, and I guess Magnus and Samoa Joe are gonna partner up again.
Yeah, definitely looks at that way. Your score?
I give a match 4 out of 5.
Well, let's look to this match, one of the featured bouts on this week's Impact Wrestling. Mr. Anderson taking on Kurt Angle with apparently huge emphasis on AJ Styles and AJ Styles' participation of joining Aces and Eights. you know, what was going to happen, especially with AJ Styles' match upcoming at Slammiversary against Kurt Angle. Talk about this match and what happened between Anderson and Kurt Angle.
Well, it was a shock that AJ was shown coming backstage and coming through the entrance of Aces and Eights. It was kind of shocking, but for the match, it was pretty much back and forth. I mean, it was a pretty good even bout. I mean, Anderson with his offense, Angle with his, and at the end, it was just pretty much Anderson with the win here. And I smell something big going into Slammiversary here, but I think Angle got something more to give to Aces and Eights. That's why I advise everyone, watch Slammiversary. I swear, one or two swerves that's going to happen. It's going to involve Kurt Angle. Stay tuned. You'll see.
Your score on the match?
And I'm going to give this one a 3.5 out of 5.
Well, there was a lot of speculation as to who James Storm was going to pick for a tag team partner upcoming for the four-way dance for the tag team titles. It's Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez defending the titles against Bad Influence, Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, and James Storm, and a partner of his choosing. Now, yours truly said last week on the Impact review here on WGS-TV that I would personally mark out if they brought back Wildcat Chris Harris and brought back America's Most Wanted to TNA. Lance, how big would that have been if they actually would have reunited America's Most Wanted and brought that tag team back to TNA today?
Well, that about half the crowd would have gone ballistic. Or I'll give it 75% of the crowd because I'm guessing they've had more fans than that. But yeah, it was went ape shit. Just crazy because that was one of the first huge tag team that TNA ever had in it. So yeah, one huge. How many times did they win the tag belts? Like 6, something like that.
Something like that. But they were a very proficient tag team. As I instruct Will to see that new caller that's in the Skype call and bring him in. But yeah, so huge. Not only for TNA at this point in the time, but for Slammiversary. You know, the 11-year Slammiversary. I instruct Will, if you can see Mr. Ashton Spears in the Skype call, please bring him in. But
yes, I'll bring him in.
But unfortunately, we didn't get this path. Now, the path that we got, you know, James Storm came out and started talking about, you know, whose partner was going to be. You know, we also had the tag team champions on commentary. They were very intrigued about it. Then he gets interrupted by Bobby Roode. They were talking about the fact that, you know, they were talking about the glory days of Beer Money, and he said that the 4 years he was a tag team with Beer Money were some of the worst times. As Will again try to bring him in because he is still calling me, but then he gets interrupted by Bad Influence, and he started talking about bringing James Storm into Bad Influence at that time, and they couldn't get to. So then we get a couple of interesting interruptions. First off, James Storm gets interrupted by the return of Shark Boy, and at this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to the GCW Extreme Champion, Ashton Spears of the Trilogy. Mr. Spears, I know that you were paying attention to that, the return of Shark Boy in this promo. What were your reactions to that?
I was excited because Shark Boy probably the closest to Austin we'll get, so it was pretty cool. I'm sorry for the hello, I didn't mean to interrupt. So yeah, it was pretty cool, dude. I liked the whole segment. Really disappointed with Gunner being the guy. I really was hoping for America's Most Wanted, actually.
Yeah, you and me both, but you know, Gunner for being away, but we also got to make note of the fact that Robbie E was also involved in, and they apparently had some weird names for a tag team if he was going to be him. And I remember, I think the most ridiculous one was like Two Bros and a Baby, something like that.
Well, I mean, I mean, it's like this, dude. Anybody who's been on the independent wrestling scene knows that prior to TNA, Robbie E had a career on the Indies that was actually damn cool. But Robbie E is, man, I don't like it. I think the whole gimmick's stupid. I don't know. I just someone mess up his hair, honestly.
But now we got the pairing of James Storm and Gunner, as they're going to be the tag team, the fourth tag team, in the four-way dance coming up at Slammiversary. What are your thoughts about this particular tag team, Mr. Spears?
Oh, dude, me being a tag team wrestler with Josh Fortin and Trucker Jones, I'll say this, dude. Hernandez and Chavo never grew on me as a tag team. So, I mean, they're okay. I mean, Chavo definitely can work with anybody. Aries and Rude, I absolutely love them together. I think A-Double is very underrated as a performer. Kazarian and Daniels, I feel, is a great tag team, and I love Kazarian's shot at Aries about controversy. But I don't know, man. You never know. Gunner and Storm could be the next Beer Money. I don't know. They both kind of look alike. I don't know. I just hope they don't swerve us and have Gunner turn on them. I would really enjoy a great tag team match.
What about a new America's Most Wanted?
That would actually make a little bit sense. I mean, dude, with TNA's direction where they're going, as we'll talk about the last segment, man, it's like they have a chance to do something great. If they would have brought back Chris Harris, America's Most Wanted, I would have popped. They even teased Chris Sabin being the guy, which I hope Sabin and Shelley get back together to do MGM again. But, man, TNA's tag division is tons better than WWE, so I'm not complaining at all.
You ain't lying.
I'm gonna give the segment a 4 out of 5. I thought it was a very highly entertaining segment. I love the fact they kept us on a cliffhanger to the very end of the segment when we saw Gunner came in and took out both Shark Boy and Robbie E. But a little bit of a disappointment factor because I, for one, too, would have liked to have seen Wildcat Chris Harris being brought back, especially for the Slammiversary for TNA. But Lance,
Billy,
go ahead.
I don't know if you caught it. If you listen very good, you could hear Aries and Kazarian go, when Gunner got in the ring, Big Shark Boy. No. Big Robbie E. I don't know if people caught that, but I definitely go with you. 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was comedy. It kept you on the thing. It would have been 5 out of 5. Hell, I would have done 6 out of 5 if it would have been America's Most Wanted.
Oh, definitely. But Lance, let's look at this next because it was very interesting. It was the Knockouts Championship on the line. Velvet Sky defending against Mickie James. Now, we did see a segment earlier in the night when Mickie James was actually showing concern about the knee of Velvet Sky and actually was going to go to Brooke Hogan and actually ask her to postpone the match until she was 100%. But Velvet Sky insisting that she was fine, that she didn't want to give Gail Kim her way, you know, giving her the fact that Gail Kim, storyline-wise, was the one who injured her, so he didn't want to give her that satisfaction. So she insisted on going on in the match. Now, needless to say, you know, I said it time in and time out, Lance. TNA, when it comes to TNA knockouts, they put on a lot better matches, more quality, entertaining matches than the WWE Divas. But as far as the championship goes, what happened in this match?
It was a lot of back and forth, but then Velvet Sky started showing that her knee was bothering her, which, well, actually, I saw something, Mickie James do something I don't see in a lot of divas or ladies matches. I saw Mickie James use a full Nelson to keep Velvet Sky down, which I was impressed with that, actually, because, like I said, you don't see that a lot in ladies matches. Then towards the end, you saw Mickie James start getting a little bit of a mean streak in her, because they're supposed to be such good friends. Then Mickie goes after the knee, and Yeah. I can't remember the finish of the match. I know she won. I just don't remember.
It was a DDT.
Oh yeah. Short DDT.
After she like healed or did something. I don't know.
She did the chop block to the knee, and then she
Yeah,
did
that's
the
what it was.
for the win. New champion.
All right, your score on the Mickie James is now the new Knockouts champion. Lance, your score on the match?
For a women's match, 5 out of 5. It's a really good women's match.
Now,
But Billy, if I could say what you said about the Divas and TNA, if you look, they were smart enough to get the great WWE competitor Sarah, Gail Kim, and there with the Velvet Skies and the girls who aren't really known for their in-ring ability. One thing I'll give TNA, their Knockouts division is one of the few bright spots I think they have with the tag team ahead of WWE by far.
I definitely have to agree with you 100% on that one. That's one of the few things that actually makes TNA, that much better than WWE is the fact they actually have quality women's wrestlers. Women that not only have the look, but actually have the talent. That makes
let me
them
ask you
better.
Is ODB hurt?
I don't know. I don't know the situation on ODB. I don't know.
I don't think she's hurt.
I don't think she is either.
I just think that TNA just don't think they have any
they don't have any storyline for her. Yeah, I gotta agree with that. And so I think that's why they're just basically using her as a referee for the knockouts. That's the only thing.
Just for right now, though.
Until they possibly find another female person to fill that role for a referee. But now let's go to the finale of Impact Wrestling, and something that Mr. Spears was alluding to earlier about the direction of TNA writing. And this was, AJ Styles' big decision. Was he with Aces and Eights, or was he with TNA? Now, James, at the start, the way everything was going, it just felt like, and it was something that Will alluded to at the onset of this review, that he was smelling something about a swerve that was going on Impact Wrestling. And when we at the onset of this segment with Aces and Eights and AJ Styles, were you getting that exact same feeling?
Well, I had that feeling is that in the onset, like for a while, I've had the feeling like if they try to in this just going to this thing right here. AJ Styles did show everything that he was gonna be part of Aces and Eights, drinking the beer and then the entire stuff, and then they gave the vest to AJ.
Yes, but you know what? Now I got to throw a botch to the camera guys of TNA, because they kept the action focused on Aces and Eights and AJ Styles in the ring. Kurt Angle had already came out and started talking about, AJ, if that's the path you want to go, you go ahead and take it, but I'm still taking you down at Slammiversary no matter what. And then for some unknown reason, we saw Kurt Angle roll into the ring. We didn't see why. And then then we saw Doc run into the ring. So yeah, TNA, when there's action on the staging area, it would help to put the camera angle on the staging area instead of just seeing Kurt Angle just randomly roll into the ring like that. I thought that was just utterly ridiculous. But Mr. Spears, when we saw AJ Styles take the hammer to Kurt Angle, did you figure at that point at the segment that maybe there wasn't going to be a swerve, and that they were really going to cement AJ Styles in Aces and Eights at that time?
It was me and Trucker watching it, and the whole time before this, me and Trucker were going. We both said the same thing. We really don't like the Aces and Eights roster. We think it's too big, and there's a lot of people who don't belong in there, and we don't feel like Anderson. I think Anderson's beyond that. I think Bischoff's a pretty good fit, but Styles would be great, because I think AJ needs something new to do. I saw it coming, You know, him hitting Angle, then him starting to beat up some aces and eights. It reminds me of the Sting thing from WCW. Like he's not picking a side. He's staying for AJ, you know, which is great. But man, did you hear the heat he had of "You Sold Out"? You sold out. That was probably one of the loudest chants of the night. So, man, I'm thinking TNA dropped the ball right there. I would have really, really liked to see AJ with aces and eights for a little while. Maybe even take over as leader. But, man, the segment was really good. Once again, I think TNA just didn't give you what it just didn't pay. It didn't feel like it was it still left you like, okay, we're exactly where we started. You know, AJ's by himself.
Yeah,
So I
well,
mean,
well, remember, it was wasn't too long ago where AJ Styles said he was tired of doing the right thing. From now on, he was going to start doing his own thing. You know, he's going to be
which I
doing it.
totally agree with you.
Yes, so overall score, I want to go for Impact Wrestling. I'm going to go ahead and actually give it a 4 out of 5. It was actually a pretty decent show. The opening with Hulk Hogan and Sting was okay until they brought Brooke Hogan out there, who again has no credible mic skills whatsoever. The fact that they brought Bully Ray in there to kind of start pitching the fact that, you know, Bully Ray saying, you know what, I still love you, Brooke Hogan, and the fact they might be actually going ahead with that angle of having Brooke Hogan turn on her father and Sting might be likely. The return of Suicide and defeating Petey Williams and Joey Ryan, I thought was actually very decent. Something Mr. Spears brought up, I'll let him talk about that, about, you know, who he thinks the identity of Suicide was tonight when we go to him. Magnus defeating Wes Brisco. We originally scheduled to have Sam Shaw and Alex Silva. I really wanted to see that match to see how these two guys have progressed ever since we saw them in Gut Check almost a year ago. Mr. Anderson and Kurt Angle, I thought the content match was good. The ending was a little bit typical and a little shitty, to be honest with you. The segment with James Storm picking his tag team partner, I gotta love the return of Shark Boy. Robbie E, I didn't think that was going to happen, but then the return of Gunner to TNA, and now it's James Storm and Gunner. You know, I thought that was a good segment. What would have been better was the return of Wildcat Chris Harris, but apparently that didn't go through. Mickie James defeating Velvet Sky. There's something brewing with this right here, and we might, you know, there was something being dropped about maybe Mickie James turning heel and going back to the Psycho Mickie James gimmick that she had in the WWE. But then the finale with AJ Styles turning on Aces and Eights. Some people said predictable. Some people say, you know, they would have thought AJ Styles would have been a better fit. But it is what it is. That's all I can say. But it was still a very decent show, in my opinion. I gotta go 4 out of 5. I'm gonna go to Lance Moss first. Lance, first, your overall score and thoughts on Impact Wrestling this week.
I actually got to agree with you. 4 out of 5. I mean, it had dropped places where it dropped the ball a little bit, like a little predictable at the end, but yeah. But favorite thing one of my things that we didn't cover. Gail Kim just getting straight whooped backstage by Taryn Terrell. I thought that was hilarious.
Cat fight! Cat fight!
Yeah, but it was more like a beat down.
Yeah. Straight whooped.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go to James next. James, your overall score and thoughts.
Let's go here. I'm just going to say, you know, with the knockouts, TNA does something the WWE has done. Let me rephrase it. TNA does stuff that WWE don't. Actually have the women's title defended often.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's interesting to see Mickie James getting the title again. But hey, this segment with the tag team it was interesting. It was Gunner. I was surprised it was Gunner too. That's the last person I really thought that would be a person to be a tag. Yeah, the matches, good quality matches, I would say overall, and yeah, the ending was predictable, but at the same time, it's kind of, you know, And it's gonna give me a little bit of surprise. Give this a 4 out of 5 here.
All right, let's go over to Will. Will, your overall score and thoughts.
All right, I'm gonna give this a 3.5 out of 5. Like I stated earlier, my thoughts basically, it was a shame that I did not get to see Sam Shaw against Alex Silva. Thank you, Aces and Eights, Whomping Creative. I really think they should bring back the Psycho Mickie James. I mean, that would really bring out more to the fans' liking. What else? The triple threat match, Suicide returning. We still don't know who it is. Hopefully, we'll get a tip on that sooner or later. Sting and Hogan were actually no more on the mic today. Brooke Hogan, do not go for any roles for a soap opera. Worst mic skills yet. And the AJ Swerve, pretty well orchestrated. Just nice. Like Ashton said, did you hear that crowd saying sell out? It came to a shock. What James said, Gunner, it was a shock to everybody too. Everybody wanted Chris Harris, but it was Gunner, a powerhouse.
Well, let's go to Ashton Spears and get his overall score and thoughts on Impact.
I never usually say this, and I never thought I would. 4 out of 5 for TNA tonight. They hit it out the park. For the first time ever, I enjoyed a TNA show more than I did a WWE show. The swerving in with AJ, predictable but still really good. The heat from it was awesome. Love to see Anderson actually beat Angle. Like you said, the ending was predictable. The James Storr segment, hilarious and funny, especially the cheap shot that Cass took at Austin Aries for the teabag. But overall, man, great show. The writing was really good. Mickie James turning heel, something that she's needed for a while. The return of Suicide, I think it's low key actually. Just some of his moveset really looked like that, but Billy thinks he's signed to Dragon Gate, so it was either, in my opinion, low key or Daniels. But overall, bro, TNA did a real good job. I'm actually thinking about a TNA pay-per-view, which I haven't done in years. So, I mean, minus the Sting and Bully match, man, this really looks to be a hell of a pay-per-view. And overall, TNA 4 out of 5. Who would have thought it?
Yep, and coming soon, we will start previewing the card for Slammiversary, just like we did Extreme Rules, one match at a time, to get everyone's in-depth analysis and thoughts. So be sure you guys are looking out for that. So what we want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Impact Wrestling this week. Be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Lance, what can fans expect to see when they visit your channel over at Lance Moss TV?
Wrestling reviews, NASCAR reviews, music reviews, and whatever else pops into my head.
Let's go over to our game show guru, guys. Will, the MVP of the Bay Area, and James, what you guys got going on Vaughn Live?
We're gonna get ready to watch Slammiversary. We'll be most likely in my room at Vaughn Live TV / Bay Area MVP for picks, predictions, and Fat Boy will also help me out too.
For this weekend, I'm not gonna be doing anything because I will be in Houston, Texas. No, not Houston, Beaumont, Texas.
Boom.
So MVP is gonna be doing a lot of the game shows stuff at instagib.tv / Bay Area MVP.
Mr. Spears, when fans want to see the trilogy, when they want to see the Messiah of the Met, the personal wrestling Jesus on the internet, where do they go?
They definitely go to the Ashton Spears on YouTube or Google Ashton Spears on YouTube. Lucas handles the Facebook. You can add the trilogy on Facebook. On ours, you'll see our wrestling matches. Of course, you'll see them on WGS-TV, and you'll actually see promos on Ashton Spears leading up to next month, June 28th, 29th, and 30th, as Gulf Coast Wrestling brings in arguably one of the greatest tag teams of all time, Ricky Martin and Robert Gibson, to GCW. On June 28th, you'll see Ricky Martin, Robert Gibson, and Flip Jackson against the 3 greatest Louisiana wrestlers of all time. Stan the Man Sweetan, your Louisiana heavyweight champion. Trucker Jones, your Gulf Coast Wrestling heavyweight champion. And of course, me, your personal Jesus, your main event maestro, your hardcore headliner, the Gulf Coast Wrestling Extreme champion and Zero Gravity champion. June 28th, Station Bar and Grill. Be there.
All right. Also, don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZFXTV Network. So for the incomparable Lance Moss from Lance Moss TV, Will, the MVP of the Bay Area, our friend James from the Big Easy, and our friend, the GCW Hardcore Extreme Champion, Ashton Spears of the Trilogy, I'm the WrestleGamer, Double B Billy Boudreaux, saying thank you very much for watching. We also like to remind you that Gulf Coast Wrestling presents the Rock in the House weekend with our very special guests, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson of the Rock and Roll Express. Friday, June 28th at the Station Bar and Grill in Broussard, Louisiana. Saturday, June 29th at the KC Hall in Plaquemine, Louisiana. And Sunday, June 30th at the American Legion Hall in Abbeville, Louisiana. For more information, please call 337-251-0546. Again, that's 337-251-0546, or visit gcw-gulfcoastwrestling.com.
Stoke Artist. Stoke Artist. Stoke Artist. Stoke Artist. Spiritual medium. Stoke Artist. Stoke Artist. I'm Haley Ringrose. Stoke Artist.
My name's Andrew Weatherall.
Spiritual medium. Stoke Artist.